Okay, everybody, today's a real quick video on how to replace your radiator hose, and I'm going to show you the hard way and the easy way. So you probably can't tell really well right here, but I'm going to replace the upper radiator hose. Same process for any of your other ones, your lower radiator hose or any other hose you might encounter. And this one's just really soft and spongy. You can see compared to the new hose I have here, that there's a big difference in size from where the other one has kind of bulged out, just deteriorated over the 250,000 miles I have on this vehicle. So the old way was to take a pair of pliers or channel locks and just open them up as wide as they would go, and then you would use one hand to basically release the clamp while you use your other hand to maybe push the clamp out or work the hose off. I'm going to show you one of these. This is what I recommend you get. These are about $10 or $15. There'll be a link to them in the description below. So these are hose clamp pliers, and really the beauty of them is, one, they give you more leverage, so they're easier to squeeze than a pair of pliers, and they hold the clamp in place. So the way they work, you just put them over the clamp like that, and then unfortunately it's off camera, but I'm just squeezing the handle. And what that does is it opens the clamp up, and because it's ratcheting, it holds the clamp open once it opens it up. So you'll see that the clamp is open now, and then once I have it open, it stays that way so that I can use both hands to work the hose off or release the clamp. And then you can use a screwdriver. They actually make a little pointed rod too. I usually like to try to work them loose with my hand. Also, before you start this, make sure you have a catch pan underneath to catch the coolant that's going to leak out. Coolant can be very dangerous to your pets because they think it's sweet tasting and they drink it, and then next thing you know, it can actually make them very sick or kill them. And then this one just has a nice little release lever on it. Once I pop that loose, the clamp comes out and allows me to reuse it. If you end up breaking one of these, you end up having to buy a new clamp. So on the front, exact same process. Just going to put it on here. We squeeze it. It locks in place. And then that gives me the ability to use both hands to kind of maneuver the hose off. Having both hands free comes in really handy when dealing with some of these, because some of them are pretty stuck on there. And like I said, you may have to use a screwdriver to kind of pop the rubber loose. Just be careful not to mar the metal joint here where it connects to. Also, I recommend that, like I started the video out, by test fitting your new hose to make sure it's the right size and has the right curves in it. So recommend you clean these off with like a lint-free cloth. You just want to make sure there's no dirt, oil, or grease. And then you're going to need to put the clamp. Put the clamp back over the hose because you have these nice ratcheting pliers, it's still held open. And then just got to use a little elbow grease to kind of work the hose back onto the niplet there. Just takes a little bit of effort. They're usually not too hard. These new hoses can be a challenge at first because the other ones have gotten hot, and they tend to come off much easier than some of the new ones go on. So once you get the hose in place, you can then move the clamp into position, and then you just release the pliers. And then once you release the pliers, the clamp is perfectly held in place, and you're good to go on that side. And like I said, I've been doing this for years, just using pliers and channel locks. And then I saw these guys on Amazon one day, and I bought a pair, and using these is night and day difference. Sometimes you get lucky when you're using just regular pliers and it's not too hard, but other times when you're having to hold it with one hand and try to work the hose loose with the other, and your pliers keep slipping off, it can be a pain in the butt. So yeah, just spend 10 or 15 bucks on a pair of these, and even if you only use them one time, you'll consider it was money well spent, I promise you. So here I'm just kind of putting the clamp back in the pliers, and I'm squeezing the handle so that I can get it open back up. I'm going to place it over the hose, and then just as before, I'm going to work this hose back over. This is back over the radiator inlet. And again, sometimes you just kind of have to maneuver it a little bit. Just be careful. You don't want to use any sort of grease or lubricant to help get these on. It's just a bad idea because that can also cause them to work loose later. So just use some elbow grease to get them on. And these hoses, you'll find if you pick up a new hose from your local parts store, they're pretty inexpensive usually. A new radiator hose is usually 10 to 20 bucks at most. However, replacing them before they fail, like I just did, can save you from being stranded on the side of the road. Because if this guy breaks on the side of the road, you're not going anywhere until you get it fixed. So a $10 or $15 part that can completely wreck, a situation or trip you're in It's just worth replacing these if you start noticing they're bulging or any sort of damage to them like that. So once you get the clamp back in place, because you have your hands free, you can release it as you make sure the clamp goes on straight. And that's pretty much it. I hope that helps. See you guys next time.